Thanks, Manoj. Thanks for putting up such a nice program. It's a good learning. Each speaker gave some very good tips, and definitely 1 minute. I have to remove this thing at the top. 1 minute.
Take your time. Stage is all yours, sir.
Yeah. So, next couple of minutes, I'll be sharing some views on phacoemulsification with silicone oil removal. One of the procedure which is very, very commonly done. And especially, I would agree with vitreoretinal. 1 minute. Yeah. Surgeons will agree this is one of the very important very important surgery which is done very commonly in both via anterior segment and where there is combined anterior and posterior segment surgeon. So the primary aim of surgery of a phaco with a SOR, one must realize why you are doing. If you have done a good vitreoretinal work and the patient has got a good visual potential, it is for the visual benefit. Many times it is not, we are not sure about the visual benefit, but we are unable to evaluate the retina post VR surgery. Cataract has increased, as previous talks it has told, nearly 60% of them, the cataract progression happens. However, in majority of cases where the cataract is significant, cataract surgery is usually combined with a primary vitreoretinal procedure. We need to think some pre-operative considerations we should think before we plan for a phaco and a silicone oil removal. Low intraocular pressure, you tend to avoid doing a SOR. High pressure, you'd like your glaucoma colleagues or probably plan for a combined, as Dr. Vinita Ramnani had told, combined procedure with a TRAB 2. Ideal situation, a normal IOP with a cataract and silicone oil in situ, you plan for this combined procedure. Age of patient is important. You need to really think that when you are planning and what are the long-term expectations of this procedure. You need to definitely look into the visual potential of that eye because you have done the primary VR surgery. You know how much vision that person may recover. And based on that, you plan. Also the status of contralateral eye and definitely the PC status, whether it is intact or breached. You want to go ahead looking at his past history, whether there was any previous recurrence after SOR. Many a times patient comes with a redetachment, you have again put a oil, and that's the time you're planning its removal. You want to keep the oil for a little longer period. Look into your old surgical notes, whether you have done a complete base excision or not, because if you have not done, that vitreous will be there, and while definitely there is a more chance of recurrent RD. Whether laser was done, whether there was a 360-degree laser you had done or done a localized laser. Some of these cases you tend to look more carefully the periphery. You may need to do more laser before you plan for a procedure. Any complication which happened in the primary retinal surgery like a lens touch. And definitely the present retinal findings, whether there is any epiretinal membrane, any tractional element you'd like to tackle when doing this combined procedure of silicone oil removal and cataract. It's already been explained. The IOL power calculation definitely is a little challenging situation because we know in silicone oil filled eye, the sound travels more slowly. There are various forms.
I think we lost you in between, sir.
Yes, I think there's some connectivity issue at his end.
Rajiv, sir, you are there?
No, sir, I think...
it is from the back end. It is from the back end office or from Dr. Rajiv's?
No, it's from their side, sir. He's back. He's back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why it got disconnected.
No problem. Take your time.
Sure. So I was on this slide when it went, I think, correct?
Yeah, yes, correct. This slide.
So whether to do a cataract surgery or SOR first. So better to do a SOR once you have a visualization. Without visualization, don't attempt to remove the oil. And it's better to secure an infusion cannula before your cataract surgery, because you have a chance to manipulate the intraocular pressure if needed. Definitely, if there is no view, you do a cataract first. And whenever you are doing a vitreoretinal procedure or SOR in a along with cataract, use a new trocar and cannula. Because many times if you're using it for second, third time, the globe will indent, the IOL, the AC will collapse. So just make it sure you use a new trocar. Again, also depends on who is doing the cataract. In an institution setting, sometimes you have an anterior segment surgeon doing, and he prefers to do a cataract first. So that is done first. Again, the choice whether to use a 4 millimeter infusion cannula or a 6 millimeter, a longer cannula. If a patient had previous history of multiple surgeries, better to use a 6 cannula. If there is poor visualization, you are not able to visualize the tip of the cannula, again use a longer one. And if the primary indication of the vitreous surgery was an inflammatory pathology, again I tend to use a 6 cannula while removing the oil. Again, a challenge of the first step is handling the anterior chamber emulsified oil, or sometimes even the vitreous emulsified oil. So in anterior chamber, always remove this AC emulsified oil first, do a good AC wash. Regarding the vitreous emulsified oil, you may tend to do a repeated partial FGs. That will help to remove to the emulsified oil to some extent. But even after doing multiple FGs, sometimes you may have some oil which is remaining, the emulsified oil. And these are the cases, look for these perisilicon oil membranes. These are very thin fibrous proliferation. Below that, there will be a lot of emulsified oil. And these membranes need to be removed. So you need to make the third port and go ahead removing this, and then removing these emulsified oil. Regarding cataract surgery, already a lot has been spoken. Use a heavy viscoelastic. Definitely you don't want any leak. As was told, the PC is thicker, it is more leathery. Again, the anterior chamber, the rhexis is very much difficult. Aim for a relatively small rhexis to prevent popping up of the IOL if there are some manipulations you are doing in the posterior chamber. Anterior capsule, you may use, as Dr. Mohan Rajan very nicely showed, you may need to use a forceps. Sometimes even you may need a scissor. You may need to use hooks in case of synechies. And if it's a uveitic eye, you tend to give a corticosteroid cover before planning the procedure. Any of the procedure has got its own complications, and even this procedure has a complication. The most common is a recurrent retinal detachment. So this is something you need to tell all your patients, that whenever you are removing the oil, it's about 15 to 20% risk of recurrent retinal detachment. And especially the risk factors for recurrent RD are those who had already previous recurrences, poor visual acuity, incomplete removal of the vitreous base during prior vitrectomies, or absence of belt buckle, especially in a case where you had severe PVR. The rate of recurrent detachment, somehow the current evidence suggests it is not dependent on technique of removal of SOR, silicone oil, or on the duration. It's not like you keep the oil for a longer time, the recurrence will be less. Emulsification, as I had told, there are many factors which are responsible for emulsification in the initial surgery, a more eventful surgery, lot of bleeding inside. You have serum, fibrin, fibrinogen, all are intrinsic surfactants. They cause emulsification. Again, external ones like sterilization detergents on the vitrectomy tubing or cutter, that can cause a longer duration of silicone oil fill. Less complete fill is the most common cause of having more emulsification, or if you have used a PF4 during your surgery, and that prompts for early SOR. And even after SOR, you may have some emulsified oil which is still remaining, and that sometimes can adhere to the IOL, especially if you are using a silicone IOL. And these are very problematic. They cause a lot of visual disturbance. Just 2 minutes more, visual distortion, glare, micropsia. And there is no way you can remove these ones and need a IOL exchange. Silicone oil keratopathy can even occur after silicone oil removal if you have left with these emulsified oils which comes to the anterior chamber, and the incidence is nearly 25% in 2 years. Again, oil in AC hypotony is an important risk factor, and reoperations. It can cause both glaucoma and hypotony, secondary glaucoma, especially in aphakic eyes, diabetic vitrectomies, pre-existing glaucoma. There are many mechanisms for this. And especially when you are doing SOR in cases of a complex retinal detachment case or a trauma, inflammatory, when you have done a large relaxing retinotomy or a case of a giant retinal tear, you may get a hypotony. You must keep that in mind. So to conclude, a good understanding on the aim of doing the procedure. It's not like every case like phaco IOL SOR is needed. Understanding why you want to combine both the procedure, keeping in mind the preoperative considerations which I have told, the right technique, and keeping a watch on complication and managing them timely would have a good outcome and a happy patient. Thank you very much.